describe to you 20 years worth of living as an adult, apart from the fact that it is crazier than you can imagine, and you seek adventure in your 20s, but then adventure comes to you and you're not really ready to deal with it. And all of those accidents teach you how to handle it better, but by then you've already done it. So what do you do? Well, what you do is you look at this light and you think, wow, I have another maybe 20, 30, 40 Christmases if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky. And this is Christmas Eve. So I thought I would just enjoy this moment, because in this particular moment, um, the trees aren't going to cause you drama or put you into a situation that causes intense stress. Hopefully not. And it's just beautiful and peaceful. And there's some sort of resonance between psychological well-being and this type of view. So I thought, I'm doing some work. I'm about to start getting into some work, and I thought I'd change the location. And the I just had to stop. Hence why you can't always work outside, because it's so distracting. But at the same time, look at that. It's just it just symbolizes the distance from so much trauma that you can go through over the years. As you know, when you get older, there are less excuses made, but not only that, but misunderstandings cause people to sincerely believe you to be something or to have done something that you know was not possible, and those who know you know it's not possible. But as a child, people say, oh, you're a kid. As an adult, they say, no, you're something else. And it's almost never really what it is. But then that makes you then question, what is actual reality itself? Is it that people see a condensed version which makes sense, governed by their perceptions? And you notice that more when you interact with people enough to hear that, one sentence that can come out of your mouth is interpreted in a completely different way. And the other person then tries to make sense of what you're saying and says, therefore, this person must be this. Of course, if you infuse this illusion of free will, then they think they've chosen to be that, which of course makes not really much sense. But anyway, out of all of that, there we go. Beautiful. I used to think that the birds were all living peacefully in the trees. I realize they're all like fighting and killing each other. Hey, pleasure to see you. Um, so, so even in that case, you have goals of all of these beings, and the goals conflict with goals of others, and hence you get conflict. But it's fascinating because you see it. What is the bright thing up top? What is that thing? It keeps moving around in the sky. How dare this thing ruin my view? You guys remember this from the 80s, from the 70s? I'm not sure, but yeah, there you go. So from the perspective of the tree, it's sort of, they hear rain, hail, shine. It's the brightest moon. Well, that's how it feels, doesn't it? I wonder what, when our descendants are living in space colonies, whether or not they'll have the same thing, or whether it won't even matter. Maybe just VR headsets will somehow get implanted straight into the brain, and so reality becomes whatever you choose it to be. That's the fascinating thing. I mean, you guys remember years and years ago when virtual reality was like this big deal, and it was at the museum. I was a kid, so it was the 90s or 80s. And, the virtual reality, all it was this grid, like the movie Tron, and it was a stick, and people would put it on, and there were so many people lining up to try this thing, and you put it on, and they're like, whoa, the stick looks real. And now you got Meta Quest 3, Meta Quest 3S, and which came from the Oculus Rift, I think, or they bought it or whatever it was. And now you got Samsung XR, and you got, what's fascinating, what I love to watch, you'll see people on YouTube who are in their 20s, and what I love about watching people interact with things when they're 20 is that they remind me of what I was blind to Not necessarily that they are blind to it, but they remind me of this excitement that you can have for things when you haven't seen enough things change that can render you more cynical. So it's such a joy to watch that. So you got these people. This one guy I watch. He's got the thing on, and he goes through different portals, and he goes to like The Simpsons. Because when we were watching The Simpsons, as kids, parents didn't allow us to watch it, and this was before the guy's born. So I just love watching the fact that someone is sitting in The Simpsons house who was born after The Simpsons, and they don't realize that we are tied together cross-generationally via that room. But he's sitting there and he's going, wow, how cool is this? And I'm thinking to myself, the lived experience of people queuing up to put on a VR headset back in the 80s, that was a stick. Like, this was what people were queuing for. And now in your house, you can turn on YouTube and 15,000 of us are watching this one guy sitting in the Simpsons set. And that transition, that lived experience, I think it's because when the stick came out, you see everybody marveling over this toy, which you can now look back and realize was a joke, but you don't have that at the time. So what does that do? It then makes you realize that you're also living in someone else's joke. Like, 30 years from now, they'll, oh my God, what was this phone? How stupid, like everything's in their contact lens. Or, they're interacting with YouTube videos, not by watching it, but by AI reenacting the YouTube video in a way they want. Greetings, Gab. Hey, Alf Pog, how long has it been? It's a pleasure to see you. Absolute pleasure. You know what's funny? When we started on Periscope, and we ended up going from like 10 people to, how many thousands it was. It wasn't about the thousands, because it's never going to be, huge or anything like that, what we talk about. But it was about the fact that there were more people who thought in this way, or found it, you're too long, or found it fascinating enough that there were thousands in the first place. And I think that as a percentage in our local population, it's not that high. So you get this impression that you're sort of alone and you're not like most people. But it turns out that a lot of people are not like most people. And the fact that technology can warp geography to bring us closer together virtually allows us to realize that it's okay to have a different version of cognition. Like, so we were just talking about that, the average cognition. There we go. Someone says, do you ever fart on your hand and smell it? This is another thing. You know why that's funny? It's funny. It's so funny because there was a time when we thought that was funny. And then there's a time when you get older and watch other people think it's funny. And then you get older again and watch people think it's funny. And you remember watching them thinking that they thought it was funny. So you get this multiple effect of consciousness, this triple echo that happens across all of these versions, these memories that are around a common abstract event that repeats itself over time. And these echoes, it's like this sinusoidal version of reality where it sort of comes back, but each time it comes back, it's in a way that is not only different, but reminds you that you're different. Anyway, I'm going to get to work now. So it was a pleasure to see you, and to see you is a pleasure. And next time, take life one smack at a time.